Hi guys, and welcome back to Film Fridays. I'm your host Victoria, and today we're going to be reviewing Lomography's simple use reloadable film camera. So this camera is not new by any means, but it does have some unique features that make it super appealing. And Lomography markets this camera as super beginner friendly and easy to use and reloadable, of course. So you'll be able to save a lot of money in the long run, and not only that, but also switch out the films to use other Lomography films or really any other brand of 35mm film. This camera is preloaded with Lomography's color negative film with a 400 ISO, and they sell that roll of film for about $9 each. I paid for this whole set for $24 about, so that means that the body of the camera would be $15 essentially, which is really not that bad when you compare it to, say, a disposable or any other one-time use camera. I'm going to compare it to a Fujifilm, but really like the price of a Kodak FunSaver. Anything else should be comparable. And a Fujifilm disposable could cost me around $15 on average, depending on where I got it from. And that means that, you know, initially it is cheaper to buy the Fujifilm than it is to buy this, which is $25. This camera is preloaded with Lomography's color negative film with a 400 ISO, and they sell that film for about $9 a roll each. This whole set, which again comes with the camera and the roll of film, cost me about $24, which essentially means that the body of the camera is $15. And it really isn't that expensive when you compare it to a disposable camera or any other one-time use camera. I'm going to compare it to Fujifilm's disposable camera, which costs on average about $15. And although initially you'd be paying a lot cheaper for the Fujifilm disposable, then you would be doing this one. The Fujifilm is $15, this one's $24. Every next time you would need a camera, you would be spending $15 on another disposable, whereas every next time you would only need a roll of film with this camera, you'd be spending $9 each. So again, although it's initially more cheaper to get the Fujifilm, you're definitely going to save a lot more money in the long run with the Lomography reloadable camera. And on each of the cameras, they come equipped with 3 color gels, which is super unique compared to the other reloadable film cameras that I've seen. They come with a yellow, a cyan, and a magenta color gel, and they say that you can make up to, I believe, 6 colors with this, you know, just by overlapping them. You can layer them and put them over the flash. You can do half-half over the flash, full over the flash, and even kind of just like stick them in the corner. And so there's just a lot that you could do with these color gels. Lomography encourages its users to take their cameras out to events, parties, celebrations, mainly stressing the fact that with their products you can take analog really anywhere you go. So that's exactly where I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it to a concert type event with a DJ, in like an event space with really low lighting, and then I'm gonna take it to a couple home birthday parties, and hopefully everybody could get a use out of these. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like on just a DSLR so you could see kind of what it looks like in real life, and then I'll show you how the pictures turn out. Are you bored at home with nothing to do? Is the snow stopping you from going outside and playing with your friends? Well, bring yourselves over to the Gravity Vault Rock Climbing Gym on Route 17 North for loads of rock climbing fun. You can top rope, auto belay, and even bolder. We have shoes, harnesses, available to rent, and are doing our best to keep everyone safe. Simply book a time slot, sign a waiver, and meet us at the gym when you're ready. So those were all the pictures that I got using the Lomography, the first round that I used it. And first off, I noticed a mistake that I made, and it wasn't with the camera, it was with the printing. So this comes with 36 exposures, which is really a decent amount. I know that the Fujifilm ones and other rolls sometimes only come with 27, so usually when I go to the store to get them printed, like the default number is 27. So by accident, I only printed 27 of the exposures when I really took 36 photos. Again, my fault with the printing process, not the camera's fault at all. So next time, I just have to be more conscious of how I order my photos, which is too bad though, because the first, I think it was 9 photos are completely gone, and those are all from the first event, with the DJ, the lights, the people, so I really have no idea how that turned out. The other photos with this camera did print really well though. I took them to some at-home birthday parties, and I used the pink gel a lot, which I really like. Just personal preference, I'm not too big of a fan of the yellow one. Putting the pink color gel fully on the flash, the photos honestly turned out super cool, and it doesn't mess with the quality of the photo at all. And even putting it on half the flash and having the pink kind of just like fade into the corner is a really cool effect. So I thought these color gels were awesome. They're really easy to kind of like move around, layer, pull back when you need them. That's another thing. The film on its own without the color gels is pretty awesome. Really no complaints, not super warm, super cool, anything like that. So I did really like the film that it came preloaded with. Only thing is about this camera is that it was super grainy, and this can be attributed to the ISO. The higher the ISO, the more grainy it would be, but I've shot Kodak Portra 400 in similarly lit situations, and it was not nearly as grainy. But I personally can't really complain because I don't mind the grain. Would I want them more clear? Probably, but again, I'm not expecting much from a simple plastic reloadable point and shoot. The grain really just adds anything in the end, I could argue. So yeah, really didn't mind the grain. Last thing is, Lomography markets their film specifically as able to shoot bright colors, amazing sharpness, like no other film can. This is literally what their website says. And do I agree with that? Not at all. This is by no means my favorite film that I've ever used. I'm not like completely impressed by it. Would I use this with my fancier film cameras? No, I definitely have preferences over this. Do I think there's anything wrong with this film? Not at all. I think it worked super well for this camera and what I expected it to do. Again, is it like no other film? No. I think personally that there are better films on the market. But again, there's nothing wrong with it, so I really have no complaints there. And that's it pretty much for my review. I would definitely say that this is worth the buy. If you're a beginner, if you're super experienced, for a beginner, the color gels are super nice, and it's something that other reloadable film cameras don't really offer, at least that I've not seen. And for a more experienced shooter even, I would recommend this. I know that I love to bring these kinds of cameras around to parties, events, hanging out with friends, because I don't necessarily want to hand off one of my fancier film cameras and have them, you know, play with the settings, not know how to use it. This one, super easy to use, directions on the back if you don't know how to use it. Just roll and, you know, snap, hold for the flash. Super simple to use. I don't mind throwing this around, giving them to friends, and again, the color gels just make it for me. Like, I think that it's worth it for this, especially since you don't have to add something on it to put the color gels on, or kind of like carry them separately in a separate container as just another accessory. They're already on the camera for you to use, and super easy to just tuck away when you don't want them. So I would definitely recommend this camera. So that pretty much wraps up what I have to say about this camera. Next week we'll be reviewing double films reloadable camera and seeing how it compares to this one. See you then.